center. Slow. March.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the contingents will now march past in slow and quick time. Please observe that only the front contingents will march past in slow time, and together with the rear contingents, they will all do the quick time. While marching past in slow time, the contingents will form GH is 66. That is, Ghana is 66 years old today. If you are privileged to find yourself seated a little higher, you will appreciate the beauty of the formation. We are also kindly requested to rise and pay the appropriate compliments whenever the colors march past your various locations.
Also be reminded that there is enough water at the various stands. Please ensure that you get a bottle. There is enough water and drinks all over the place.
Approaching the days now is the parade commander, Naval Captain Albert Anku Pesenu. Besides him is the parade adjutant, Major Emmanuel Owusudia. Directly behind them is the first contingent, which is the #1 male contingent, drawn from the Southern Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. The contingent commander is Captain John Ajekum Kufuor, and the supernumeraries are Lieutenant Tony Subre Asamoah and Lieutenant Godfred Asante. The contingent sergeant major is Staff Sergeant Atta Amos. If you observe closely, you will realize that they have formed the figure 6. Directly behind them is the #2 female contingent, and that is the Ghana Army female contingent, drawn from the Support Services Brigade Group. They are under the command of Captain Daniela Opong Mensah. The supernumeraries are Lieutenant Gertrude Dua Omania Jekum and Lieutenant Erica Mensah. The contingent sergeant major is Staff Sergeant Afedofe Akofa. They have also formed the figure 6. The 2 army contingents have thus formed the figure 6-6. The #3 contingent is the Ghana Navy all-male contingent under the command of Naval Lieutenant Anthony Salifu Ziame. The supernumeraries are Sub-Lieutenant Emmanuel Atta and Sub-Lieutenant Baba Amadou. The contingent sergeant major is Petty Officer Class 2, Adum Kofi Anthony. They have formed the letter S. May I respectfully request that we all rise and pay the appropriate compliments as the colors march past our location. The national color is carried by Naval Lieutenant Isaac Yao Aban. Behind the color party is the Parade Regimental Sergeant Major, Fleet Chief Petty Officer Class 2, City Sebastian Kobla. The #4 female contingent, which is the Navy female contingent, is commanded by Naval Lieutenant Mariam Nam Ben Salifu. The supernumeraries are Sub-Lieutenant Portia Kumi and Sub-Lieutenant Comfort Kankan Ajin. The contingent sergeant major is Petty Officer Class 1, Mante Kojo Vicentia. They have formed the letter I. Thus, the Navy male and female contingents have formed the word is. The #5 contingent is an Air Force contingent commanded by Flight Lieutenant Precious Fojo Edu, with Flying Officer Nicodemus Atta and Flying Officer Samuel Entry as the supernumeraries. The contingent sergeant major is Sergeant Seshi Eric. They have formed the letter H. The female Ghana Air Force contingent has formed the letter G. They are under the command of Flight Lieutenant Nana Ma Amakwa Akwa. The supernumeraries are Flying Officer Doreen Naki Donko and Flying Officer Patience Nashome Sowa. The contingent sergeant major is Warrant Officer Class 2, Obeng Sandra. Thus, the Air Force contingent has formed the word GH, which stands for Ghana. Therefore, we have Ghana is 66. Ghana is 66 years old today. Behind the contingent is the parade second in command, Wing Commander Bernard Kofivia Amemate.
Parade! Break into quick time. Quick march.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the contingents have now transitioned into the march past in quick time. The pilots for the 66th Independence Anniversary Parade include Squadron Leader Augustine Kanga, Squadron Leader Samuel Opong, Flight Lieutenant Seth Oko, Squadron Leader Ebenezer Frimpong, Squadron Leader George Kofi Foley, and Wing Commander Frank Mills. The forward air controllers include Flight Lieutenant Leslie Kofiali, Flight Lieutenant Isaac Antiame, Flight Lieutenant Foster Didier Mudo, and LSC Adai Eric. Approaching the days once again is the number 1 Army male contingent, followed by the Army female contingent. Directly behind them is the Ghana Navy male contingent. May I respectfully request that we all rise and pay the appropriate compliments as the colors march past our various locations. All in uniform are reminded to salute. Behind the color party is the Ghana Navy female contingent. We now have the Ghana Air Force male and Air Force female contingents. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now the turn of the Ghana police contingents. The number 7 male police contingent is commanded by DSP Bismarck Abuaji Ansa. The supernumeraries are DSP Forsen Bimpong and ASP Vincent Buedi. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sergeant Cletus Opong. The number 8 female police contingent is commanded by DSP Sunrise Lokadia Adika Tamaklu, with ASP Ernestina Mafu Intiri and ASP Benis Koti Papefio as supernumeraries. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sergeant Juliana Akowa. The number 9 male police contingent is commanded by DSP Dr. Baba Francis Kofi, with ASP Gosway Ameji and ASP Precious Agbemowu as the supernumeraries. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sergeant John Mate. The number 10 female contingent is commanded by DSP Prudence Yenzu, with ASP Nancy Aiti and ASP Benis Baki Yohonu as the supernumeraries. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sergeant Barbara Mensa. It's now the turn of the Ghana Prisons Service contingents. The 11th contingent is commanded by DSP Samuel Enam Klaji. The supernumeraries are ASP Moses Pogo and ASP Richard Dakli. The contingent Sergeant Major is Drill Sergeant Paul Sechi. The 12th contingent is the prisons female contingent, commanded by DSP Emilia Atta, with ASP Hamdia Adam and ASP Irene Allen as the supernumeraries. The contingent Sergeant Major Anita. It's now the turn of the Ghana Fire Service contingents. The male contingent has ADO Grade 2, Dennis Agbeko, as the commander. The supernumeraries are ADO 2, Daniel Marshall Koyi, and ADO 2, Emmanuel Sasu Amiao. The contingent Sergeant Major is Sub-Officer Bright Okreku Yurenchi. The Fire Service female contingent is commanded by ADO 2, Selina Efriye, with ADO 2, Rebecca Ahodeto, and ADO2 a leader, LC Ekpe, as supernumeraries. The contingent sergeant major is Assistant Group Officer Pamela Sedinam Akoli, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. The male contingent is commanded by Assistant Revenue Officer Timothy Kwabena Sokwa and Assistant Revenue Officer Samuel Otabil. The female contingent is commanded by Revenue Officer Nora Konedu Sapong, with Assistant Revenue Officer Doreen Eje Buzia and Assistant Revenue Officer Nana Sechwa Sakodie as supernumeraries. It is now the turn of the Ghana Immigration Service. The male contingent is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Immigration Louis Quay. The supernumeraries are Assistant Superintendent of Immigration Zedoka Ama and Assistant Superintendent of Immigration Elvis Mensah. The contingent sergeant major is Thomas Moore Yu. The female contingent is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Immigration Ruth Entry. The supernumeraries are Assistant Superintendent of Immigration Dorcas AJ JC and Assistant Superintendent of Immigration Barbara Amankwa Kwathin. It is now the turn of the Ghana National Ambulance Service. The male contingent is commanded by EMT Oscar Owusu, with Advanced EMT Joshua Atta Yatel and Advanced EMT Solomon Seidu Belazien as the supernumeraries. The female contingent is commanded by Advanced EMT Al Hassan Nadia, with Advanced EMT Vivienne Abugari and Advanced EMT Millicent Danso as the supernumeraries. The contingent sergeant major is Senior EMT Ajwa Jomoa. It is now time for the equipment display. Leading the equipment display are the quad bikes from the 64 Infantry Regiment of the Army Special Operations Brigade. The quad bike is an all-terrain vehicle with low-pressure tires with handlebars for steering. The quad bike commander is Lance Corporal Dako Ansah Fred. Behind the quad bikes are the Hunter Light Striking Vehicle. The commander is Lieutenant Kwame Nyame. The armament consists of a ring-mounted 12.7 millimeter, 14.5 millimeter heavy machine gun, and 40 millimeter grenade launcher with 360 traverse plus 3 single pin-mounted 7.62 millimeter light machine guns. The Hunter is used for crowd dispersal in internal security operations. Right behind the Hunter is a ZU 4.5 anti-aircraft gun being towed. It is used to engage enemy aircraft at a range of 2.5 kilometers. Following the Hunter Light Striking Vehicles are 5 Nissan pickups with the 107 millimeter gun. The 107 millimeter gun is being towed on a pickup. It is a 12-tube gun. The commander is Warrant Officer Class 1, Bonnie Yao David. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now the turn of the 1-5 Armored Reconnaissance Brigade, with personnel drawn from 153, 154, and 155 Armored Regiments. The first troop is made up of the Cobra Electro-Optic Surveillance System, Armored Personnel Carrier. They are under the command of Captain Theophilus Osei. They have adopted the Diamond Formation. The second troop is made up of Cobra 2, Armored Personnel Carrier. They have also adopted the Box Formation. They are under the command of Second Lieutenant Eric Ampabeng. Following the troop closely are the Husky vehicles. The vehicles have adopted a staggered column formation, and they are under the command of Second Lieutenant Henry Amono Benin. The Squadron Sergeant Major is Warrant Officer Class 1, Atta Seidu. Following the 1-5 Armored Brigade is the 66th Artillery Regiment, located at the Volta Barracks Hall, here in the Volta region. The first march pass are the 122 millimeter multiple launch rocket systems. They have adopted the arrowhead formation. They are under the command of the battery commander in the person of Captain Martin Atta. The battery sergeant major is Warrant Officer Class 1, Dogbe, Wisdom. Following closely are the 122 millimeter howitzers, which have also adopted the arrowhead formation. The 122 millimeter howitzers are under the command of Lieutenant Mabel Afum Insia. The troop warrant officer is Warrant Officer Class 1, Support Charles. Next is the troop of 107 millimeter multiple rocket launchers. They are under the command of Lieutenant Godfred Amwakun Amu. The troop warrant officer is Warrant Officer Class 1, Parton Gordon. Behind the 107 millimeter multiple rocket launchers is the troop of the 105 millimeter howitzers. The troop leader is Lieutenant Nanabeyin Apiakum. The troop warrant officer is Warrant Officer Class 1, Zo Daniel. The last troop from the 66th Artillery Regiment are the 105 millimeter howitzer saluting guns. They are under the command of Second Lieutenant Samira Anuwe Seidu. The troop warrant officer is Warrant Officer Class 1, Akomenya Nobis. These saluting guns will be used for the 21 gun salute for today's parade. It is now the turn of the Ghana Navy Divers and Special Boat Squadron. On display from the Ghana Navy are 2 of the 4 Navy's fastest boats, interceptor and rescue boats, Ghana Navy ship Yogaga and Ghana Navy ship Jata. Ghana Navy ship Yogaga is under the command of Chief Petty Officer Class 2, Ahuma Okansi Robin. His 2IC is Petty Officer Class 1, Abdullahi Michael. The commander of Ghana Navy ship Jata is Sub-Lieutenant Daniel Akable, and his second in command is Petty Officer Class 2, Aganya. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, approaching the days now is the Ghana Armed Forces Physical Training School mobile vehicle. They are conducting a series of displays on board the mobile vehicle. It is now the turn of the Ghana National Fire Service vehicles. They have a total of 5 firefighting vehicles on display today. These include firefighting tenders, turntable ladders used in fighting fire in high-rise buildings, and a recovery truck. The commander is Adio Nathaniel Ama. Leading the vehicle display is the Volvo truck. This is a multi-purpose fire appliance used for fire and rescue operations. Next is the PS truck. This is a dual-purpose tender used for firefighting and hazmat incidents. We now have the turntable ladder. It can be extended to a height of 37.5 meters. It is capable of reaching 12 floors. We now have the hydraulic platform. This vehicle is used for fire and rescue operations. It can be extended to a height of 72 meters, capable of reaching over 24 floors. We now have the recovery truck, which is used for towing and lifting vehicles. It is now the turn of the Ghana National Ambulance Service. From the National Ambulance Service, we have ambulances drawn from the various constituencies in the whole municipality. On display today are 6 Mercedes-Benz ambulances. The leading ambulance is commanded by SAEMT Henry Holali Malwe. He also doubles as the Deputy Regional Commander and Head of Operations. We have ambulances from North Tong, Keta, Central Tong, Afajato South, South Dai, and Ketu South constituencies. I will now hand over to ASP Richmond Mensah to continue with the display.
Thank you very much, Squadron Leader Salifu. We now have, on the part of the Ghana Police Service, the Visibility Unit, which is under the National Patrol Department. The unit is under the command of Deputy Superintendent of Police Killian Dakura and supported by Assistant Superintendent Emmanuel Ochre. The introduction of the motorbike patrol is to deal with the trend of crime where criminals use motorbikes to commit all sorts of violent crimes. Personnel of this unit use high-performance motorbikes patrol to patrol residential areas, suburbs, and other vulnerable areas to prevent and deter criminals from operating. They also combat hardened criminals. This has reduced drastically crimes committed with motorbikes in areas noted for such crimes. The formation by the Visibility Unit is called in our local parlance Eban, which means strength. Closely following the Visibility Unit is our canine unit, that is the dog unit of the Ghana Police Service, and it is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Police Joseph Awuni with the dog named Inspector Hunter. The commander handling the dog with the name Inspector Hunter, and I think they deserve a round of applause. He is ably supported by Inspector Francis Sapong. The canine unit was established in June 2019, which offers a specialized resource to the Ghana Police Service with the use of trained dogs in crime prevention and detection, criminal apprehension, officer safety, and service to community. These dog handlers and their dogs were trained by the Paramount Specialist K9 Training Academy in South Africa, where they were taken through counter-improvised explosive devices awareness, combat first aid and trauma training, as well as the use of handguns shooting targets at short and long distances whilst handling dogs. Some of the dog names are General Sergeant Ragnar and G Sergeant Zeus. closely followed by the formed police unit of the Ghana Police Service, and is under the command of Deputy Superintendent of Police, Dr. Christabel Dinah Ofori Atta. She is supported by Deputy Superintendent of Police, Joyce Adjoa Kwabia Asari. The formed police unit was established on 29th July 2013 under the leadership of Inspector General of Police, retired Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Al-Hassan. Then the Director General of Finance, now the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare, was highly instrumental in the setting up and operationalization of the FPU, which was under his direct supervision. No wonder today, the FPU is seen as one of the pillar units in the service and is soon extending to all regions within the country. The FPU provides both international and internal security. Some of the functions include public order management, protection on UN personnel and property, supporting operations that require a formed response and may involve high-risk operations. Some of the vehicles they are displaying this afternoon are rapid intervention vehicles used to rescue of VVIPs, diplomats in times of emergency. We also have armored personnel carrier vehicles for survival during crowd control. They are also displaying the Guardian, which is used as an assault vehicle and can be used for rescue and crowd control. We also have Maverick, multi-purpose vehicle, which is also used in crowd control as well as public order management. Followed closely is the mobile clinic, the police mobile clinic. It offers first aid on operational basis during demonstrations and crowd control. It has the capacity to provide surgical procedures on operational fields. It has radiological capacities and also an acute cardiac life support services. And it has a bed capacity of 9. We also have a specialized counter-terrorism unit, which is commanded by Deputy Superintendent of Police, Dr. Entry Akomea, and supported by ASP Patrick Adu Boateng. We now have the police air ring displaying. This is the police air ring. We have 3 helicopters. The leading helicopter is called the Fennec, which is named GP001, and it is piloted by Air Ring Sergeant Emmanuel Agbemehia, and is supported by Air Ring Sergeant Merix Bona. These are the 3 helicopters, and we have the remaining 2. We have GP002, piloted by Air Ring Sergeant Bright Ado Ajay, and supported by Air Ring Sergeant John Apia Kubi. We also have GP003, piloted by Air Ring Sergeant Godfred Smith, and supported by Air Ring Sergeant Yase Yakubu. Some of the functions include providing air support to the police, including recce activities, crime prevention and detection through regular patrols, air-to-ground direction, guiding police on ground to their targets, search and rescue purposes, photographic tags, providing area photography for crime, traffic, planning and routine operations, as well as covert surveillance, observation, and photography of criminals. Mr. President, thank you very much. The Ghana Police Service is indeed grateful. We look forward to more. We are confident that soon we will have 1 police region, 1 helicopter. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I will now hand you over to my co-commentator to continue with the rest of the commentary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Richmond. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.